Well, good evening, everybody. Give me a thumbs up in chat if you guys can hear me okay. And once I get the thumbs up, we'll go ahead and get started here. What's up, Forest Dog, Rita, J Man, Matthew? What is going on, everybody? How is your Sunday evening going here? Tina, LJ, Weather Girl 23. All right, awesome. Thumbs up. Sweet. All right. So, we have a few things here to talk about. If you're new to these streams, we discuss the upcoming week in entirety, and as far as temperatures goes, days to watch for precipitation, and then also breaking down any storm chances we could have in the near future. We have a few of those to talk about. So, jumping right into this, starting off by saying the upcoming week is going to be on the cooler side of things from what we've been used to here. We're into high 70s, low 80s here for a couple days for the majority of the lower peninsula. That's going to change though. Looking at probably mid to upper 60s for highs, maybe a couple days sneaking into the 70s here. Wednesday in particular looks like the warmest day of the week here. Looking ahead to the GFS model, just in terms of general temperatures here, we're going to see the 60s staying around Michigan here Monday, and then Tuesday cools off. The low temperatures are going to be right around the low to mid 50s, so we're not going to cool off too much. Not talking freezing, anything like that, but it is a little bit cooler than what we've been talking about or we've been experiencing the past couple of days. Okay, as we get toward the weekend, again, looking at some of these temperatures sticking around the upper 50s, low 60s here, and then lows in the 40s possibly there. So just overall cooler than we've been experiencing. Nothing too significant. We're still in that spring type pattern here. Not going to warm up too quickly to summer, but just keep in mind a little bit cooler than average is on the table here. Now, focusing on one thing in particular as far as precipitation goes, tomorrow should be mainly just cloudy. We're not really worried about showers or storms tomorrow, but as we get into Tuesday, we're going to be looking at a few of these storm chances to kick up here, and that is going to be driven by a low pressure system out to our west. Now, looking at the SPC outlook here, they have designated an area to the south here along the I-94 corridor. Zooming into this, look at it a little bit better here. So areas like South Haven, Kalamazoo, Jackson, over toward Ann Arbor, Monroe, Hillsdale, Coldwater, those general areas right now are in a level 1 out of 5, with 5 being the worst, 1 being the least. This is level 1 out of 5. So it's the lowest risk we can have, but it is still a risk we're watching here. And the big question with this risk is going to be how much moisture, how much instability we can get up into the area here. Let's go ahead and dive into this a little bit deeper here. So looking at a few of the models here, we have a couple short-term models that have come out and a couple long-term models we're still using here. We're kind of still in that phase where we're kind of split. We only have 1 or 2 models that are out here. The NAM model in particular, although the NAM isn't doing too well this year, so we're not going to put too much weight into that. But when we go ahead and look at the solutions of what could happen here, looking at our surface instability, which is the biggest question, go ahead and overlay this here. So the coloration here, anything over blue is going to be good for severe weather. Anything in the purple is a little bit lower, but can still support, but not, overly support. Looking at the Tuesday evening time frame here, we do see the purple here and the blue is basically just to the south in Indiana here in parts of Ohio, Tuesday evening here. So just very briefly brushing that southern portion of Michigan. Okay, keep that in mind there. That dies out pretty quickly. So it's about a 4 or 5 hour window there. The instability kicks up there and is sufficient. So looking at the models and stuff like that, though, here's the concern. As we go into Tuesday morning here, look to the west. This is what the radar may look like Tuesday morning. We do have a line extending all the way up into Canada, all the way back here toward Arkansas, of a decaying line of showers and potential storms here. Now that's going to work in the area here. It says it arrives in Michigan roughly 1 to 2 p.m. It may be before then, but the general idea of it arriving is going to be the main focus here. If this does show up in the morning hours of Tuesday, that could mean 2 things here. It could mean 3 things actually, but 2 main things we're going to watch. Number 1, cloud cover. Are we going to have enough sun to heat the surface and get instability up and going? Number 2, when these showers and storms can move through, they can cap the atmosphere sometimes, which would limit any storm potential severity into the evening hours. So 2 things to watch there. So the fact the model is throwing this out as a solution, it gives us more uncertainty and less confidence to call a risk a risk. Something to watch there. Okay. So assuming that this is the case here, It clears out. This model does show it clearing out roughly mid to late afternoon here. It does allow a few hours of surface heating to take place, but it doesn't really allow too much to take place. If you notice, the instability numbers were much higher in the southern portion down here, say, central and southern Indiana and Illinois there. And that may be the case here. We do have some good instability still up here in the area, but is it going to be enough is going to be the main question here. So something to watch there. This model in particular does fire off a few storms, but nothing too organized here. And again, we're not putting too much stock into this model here. It's been wrong. We're just giving you an idea of what we're seeing with the first couple models coming out. Looking at a plethora of models for that solution as well, kind of overlapping our instability with our wind shear. We have a composite that we use. And we look at the probability of it being highest in certain spots. Looking at that for Tuesday, again, we're seeing that just very far southern tip there along the 94 corridor, sneaking into the little bit higher probability there. So we're going to watch that closely. It could go either way here. There's definitely potential here for it to shift south of the state, and we're not going to be in a risk at all. But there is a potential there. We could see a risk, maybe perhaps an increase in risk again. We were in a slight risk yesterday. We could see that return if we can have more confidence in the instability being more sufficient. So I know the question is going to be asked here: tornadoes, wind, hail. The answer for Tuesday is number one, if everything comes together, dominoes fall correctly. Wind and hail, primary risks. Personally, not seeing a risk here for tornadoes. That could change. We're still a few days out. Allow more time for this to work itself out. Right now, though, not looking like a major tornadic day. It should primarily stay a wind and hail if we can get the instability up in the region. Okay, that's Tuesday. Now, shooting ahead here, there are storm chances again for Wednesday. But again, that's going to really depend on how Tuesday plays out. And for right now, the SPC does highlight south of us in a severe risk here for Wednesday, right here. Now, it's possible we can get a marginal risk extension up into southern Michigan again, although confidence is going to be low because, once again, Tuesday is going to affect how Wednesday plays out. So confidence is basically near zero. Could we have severe weather on Wednesday? Unlikely, possibly, but we'll wait and see. Okay. Regardless, though, storm chances do return Wednesday, severe or not. It's a possibility for pretty much the entire state once again. And then after that, we get into Thursday here, some leftover showers in the region. And then as we get toward Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're staying dry, but looking at some more but more so shower chances coming in for the weekend, probably closer to Sunday. And again, that's still a long ways away. That could change, but right now we're seeing that be the case here for Sunday. So a wetter type of week, a cooler type of week, but 1 or 2 days here to watch here for storm potential, possibly strong or perhaps severe in the further south of the state. But overall, we'll have to wait and see how this plays out to really get a good feel for what's going to happen. So once again, the SPC does have a level 1 out of 5 risk, a lowest risk we can have for severe weather here for areas along the 94 corridor from Ann Arbor over towards, we'll say, Holland area. Okay. So dark green. Regardless, though, looking ahead, though, like I said, the week is going to be a little bit cooler than average, upper 60s, low 70s, maybe a few days there, and maybe low to mid 60s. So a little bit cooler for highs, not cooling down too much. Friday would look to be the coolest day, looking probably closer to 40, maybe 45 for a low. Not talking about freezing, though, which is good news. But as we get into next week, a week out, it does look to warm back up here. Looking at the future or the CPC guidance here of temperatures and precipitation, we are in that cooler phase here for the next 6 to 14 days here. We do see Michigan highlighted in a contour here of below average probability of temperatures here. So that's translating well. We're not too below average here, but we are just slightly below average. In terms of the 1 month outlook, though, that remains unchanged, issued a couple days ago here. Michigan remains in the above average, and also in the 3 month, it does remain in the above average contour as well. So once we get past this week, maybe parts early next week, we'll be back up into the average, if not above average temperature contour. And then also with precipitation there, we're looking at mainly below average for precipitation here next 8 to 14 days, or actually should I say near normal, trending below average in my opinion. But again, this is the CPC official guidance. We'll trust these guys. They're usually pretty accurate here. But as we get into 1 month outlook here, we're still near normal, if not just above average. And then the 3 month is roughly the same. near normal with borderline above average sticking around. So overall solution for this, watch Tuesday, Wednesday of this week, particularly Tuesday, especially in southern Michigan. Overall storm chances are best across the state, severe or not, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then we dry out for potentially later part of Thursday, Friday, and most of Saturday. And then rain chances kick back in what looks to be right around Sunday. So that is your week ahead, guys. Do you have any questions at all? Also, before we get too far into the questions, for those of you who want to view or who are interested in Aurora Northern Lights, we do have potential tonight. Looking at a few of the data points here, the G1 KP5 warning is in effect, which basically equivalents to the Aurora being visible from Mount Pleasant to the north. That's possible for tonight. Although right now I am noticing the data is weakening just a bit here. We're looking at a few numbers here. I want to see the BZ number in the negative. It's actually currently positive right now, so that's not very favorable for Aurora. But the potential is definitely there tonight. If you live north of Mount Pleasant, up into the UP areas especially, cloud cover up there does look to be minimal. Further south, though, it does look to be quite socked in here with clouds. So for those of you who live further north in Michigan, you do got a shot tonight for it. So eyes to the sky if you want to. Now, I'll go ahead and leave it back over here on the SPC outlook for Tuesday, and I'll turn over to the comments here for some of your guys' questions. As far as your questions, I see a few of these already. Is it going to get upgraded? Could it shift? Right now, unlikely, in my opinion, to shift, just because we looked at the instability before. It's not too far up north into Michigan. It's sticking right along the 94 corridor. I think the placement here from the SPC is perfect right now. Could it get upgraded to a slate again? Possibly, but again, that takes a little bit more confidence to get going here. So right now we don't have that, but we will have more confidence as we get more data points available. We'll have some short-term models coming out here. Like I said, we only have really one or two models to work with that are usually fairly accurate with these types of systems. So we'll wait and we'll wait to see what those look like tonight and also tomorrow morning. Just got my garden finished, so I'm good with rain. Awesome, Julie. That's awesome to hear. Snowfall forecast? No, Matthew. No, Matthew. No snow. No snow at all. We're done with that. Flint is not in a risk at all, Jordan. You are just in a general storm contour. So, yeah, you could see a storm or two. Severe weather, though, up there, not likely. Yeah, Mike, I'd say that's pretty confident or pretty I think that's pretty good analogy there. We have the eggs. We don't have the flour yet. We don't have the oven to cook it. So we're watching it though. We're watching it. Is Macomb County worth watching? I think you're close enough to the risk that yes, you should be watching. But right now, I think the risk is highest off to your west and south, given what I'm seeing on models. That could change, but we're getting into that day 2 time frame where stuff starts to kind of lock in better. So it's looking unlikely, but I still say pay attention if you're close to that risk, which Macomb County is close enough to the marginal right now that I'd still say watch for any shifting. What about the Tennessee Valley? What are you thinking? Further south and further west, the next couple of days are going to get hit pretty hard. I'm not going to go in too much detail because it's out of our viewing area for this page here. But there's risks lined up Monday, or should I say tomorrow, Tuesday, potentially Wednesday here as well. So going on a trip there, what days are you going to be there, Tina? What is unlikely? Unlikely basically just means that the odds of it happening are quite low. The odds of it not happening. Okay, so unlikely means the odds of it not happening are higher than it actually is that it happens. Tuesday to Sunday. So for Tennessee general area here from the SPC, from Tuesday onward, technically, yes, you are in a risk for Tuesday and Wednesday, but those should be the only 2 days to worry about here. So it looks like Western Tennessee is in the highest risk here for Tuesday. And then Wednesday could be a bigger day because basically the entire state of Tennessee there is in a risk there. So Tuesday, Wednesday, yeah, be on alert, especially just because I've been looking at models and stuff like that. I can tell you that the instability and stuff is higher down there. So definitely be on your toes for Tuesday and Wednesday if you're going further south. Yeah, Brad, I've been seeing a lot of talk about that. It's definitely a possibility, but we'll let the SPC handle that. Regardless of if it's a moderate risk or a high risk out in Oklahoma, it's still a risk. It needs to be taken seriously. I'm not really seeing. I got a couple questions in here about is my city going to get hit hard? I mean, with this setup, it's really what a marginal basically means is we're probably going to see some type of storm or storms, but not everybody will see that storm, and not every storm that happens is going to be severe. So basically, just means the atmosphere is marginally or on a smaller scale, supportive of severe weather. So technically, yes, your city could get hit, but being 3 days out, we can't really get a good idea of where it's going to happen at. The chance is low, but if you're in that marginal risk here, definitely be on your toes. Um, Not really on your toes right now, but just keep in mind for future updates and just stay tuned to future forecasts and just keep in mind that we can have some storms for Tuesday. My daughter is going to camp in Howell Monday till Wednesday. Will be any storms those days? Tuesday, especially, is a day to watch, and then potentially Wednesday as well. But I think Wednesday may be more so to our south. It's a chance though, so I'll mention Tuesday, Wednesday. Yes, severe weather. The right now I'm going to say probably Tuesday be the most concern, but still Howell is just north right now of that risk area. But I could see it being shifted just a little bit further north there to encompass Howell. So stay tuned to future forecasts. You're kind of right in that tipping point line there. Yeah, Berry County last night was kind of a freak incident. We only had if you had very we had to have a multitude of things come together to get that to happen. Like we had two outflow boundaries crashing together. We had just a lot of stuff that happened on the mesoscale to really get that storm to get severe warned last night. Um, it can happen. It's Michigan. Things can happen like that, but it's not very often. So yeah, guys, winter's over. Why are we talking about snow in chat? If you guys got questions, now is the time to drop them in chat. Otherwise, I got nothing more to share with you guys. So feel free to hit the like button for me. Helps the stream out, helps us out significantly. Yeah, you're all in timeout. Nobody mentioned snow. I actually banned that word. I can go into the YouTube control room and ban words, so I can ban the word snow. I won't do that to you guys though. Is there a chance the marginal could turn into slight? Possibly. Right now, not thinking that. We have to have more confidence in terms of higher instability numbers. We don't have that confidence right now. We may have it. Say tonight's runs come in pretty hot, so to speak, or they look better. We could see an upgrade, but right now, not seeing that. But again, SPC decides that we don't. But just an educated guess would say not at this point. Dayton to Allegan travel. What day, Jess? I'm going to scroll back up here and see if I can find your comment. How does travel look from Dayton to Allegan? Friday was a monsoon. What day are you talking about, Jesse? I'm assuming you're meaning Tuesday. Monday. Monday, you'll be fine. Just fine. No, this is not for tonight. This is for Tuesday. Let me go ahead and zoom out of this. There, you can see the Tuesday at the top there. This is for Tuesday. Snow in May, do not talk. Ashley, I think it's about time to put the snow equipment away. I don't really see much in the way of cold temperatures. I mean, it's cooler this week, yeah, but we're not talking like freezing temperatures here. Pool's opening soon. Yes, indeed. Lakes are getting pretty warm out there too. Lake Erie is actually quite warm. Michigan and Huron, though, not just yet, but it's getting there. Not going to know that, Brian, until we have a little more confidence. Right now, it's just an idea in a forecast. Potential is there for both either a severe weather episode, but also potential exists for it to shift to our south and miss us, leaving us with just general thunderstorms. So both are possibilities. In terms of how severe they're going to get, I mean, if everything comes together, it's still not looking like an overly concerning day. More so just some damaging winds and large hail. Not seeing too much risk here for tornadic activity. Um, so overall, if the worst case scenario happens, it doesn't look to be overly concerning at this point. But still, severe weather is severe weather. It can kill you and it can damage properties. That's why we exist, and that's why we highlight these potential risks for you guys. Don't put too much stock in the NAM run, Martin. I'd wait till the short-term models come out. How does travel look on Tuesday to the south? Tina, go ahead and look at that real quickly here. We do have a decaying line of showers and storms that are going to move through. That's expected to move through, should I say. Never be too sure with these things, but if you're going down to Dayton area there, or you're going down to Tennessee, actually, what'd you say about that? I gotta find it again. You're going to the south. Okay, you're going to Tennessee. So if you leave early enough, you should miss the initial line, so to speak, of rain. Those shouldn't be severe. Further south, there's a potential for that, but I don't see that right now being the case. That'll move through. You'll be dry, and as soon as you get down to Tennessee, you should be fine until later on in the evening hours. But right now, still not seeing much in the way of too much significance for your travel. But once you're down there later in the evening, that's when you should be more so on alert. We strive for that, Stanley. We strive for that. What's up, Bill? I'll do a recap here at the very end of the video, which we're probably nearing here. We've been on for about 25 minutes or so. Time range is not going to really be known, but really just a guess for right now. It'd be probably afternoon, evening for Tuesday if there's going to be a risk at all. It's possible, Jay. Right now, educated guess says not really. Have to have more confidence in the amount of instability being higher than what's forecasted to get an upgrade. Yeah, Dexter would be included in that. Ford. Let's see. Will it be hard to travel to the south on Tuesday? It shouldn't be too terribly hard. Just some rain in the morning, perhaps early afternoon, depending on exactly when you leave. If you leave early enough, you'll miss it more than likely. Rhonda, I think further south, yes. If you live up in the UP, northern lower, maybe a couple more frosts, but I don't see anything short term that suggests that. Going to be watching the SPC update tonight. Yes, I will be I will be too, Julie. Curious what they're going to do with that. And I'm also curious to see a few more models we're going to have roll out here. We'll have a few more data points to look at and get more so confidence, but also respectfully looking at Monday, tomorrow's risk, and how that plays out will also directly affect how Tuesday plays out. So there's still a bit of uncertainty regardless of models and stuff like that. Can we start giving fishing reports? I am actually not too knowledgeable on the lake stuff, like marine, should I say, more so that side of things. Nick, I believe, is. So I can talk with Nick and see if we can get like a marine forecast, a fishing forecast going. I'm just not too knowledgeable. I've actually gone fishing once in my life, so I'm not I'm not a big water person. I don't think they will either, Matthew, unless something changes at the models tonight, which is possible it could, but We'll have to wait and see. No, don't think so, Tina. Don't really think so. Has this downtrend from Friday or Saturday with respect for the models? A little bit for Michigan if you want to look at like overall severity and stuff like that. If we want to go back here, we don't put stock into model runs that are 5, 6, 7 days out. We just look at it for general guidance and patterns. But it did show a good majority of Michigan within a severe threat at that point. But it's also why we don't advertise it as such because it kind of downtrends, so to speak, or it can shift around. So it's always why it's best to wait until you're in that day 3 time frame here to mention these risks. Yes, Tina, that's correct. All right, guys, I'll recap everything here. We'll hop off here. So, starting with the week here, the entirety of the week minus 1 or 2 days, probably Tuesday. Wednesday in particular, though, looks a little bit warmer than most of the days here. But overall, compared to the past couple of weeks, past 10 days or so, we're going to be in the mid to high 60s, low 70s here. Tuesday, Wednesday may surge up into the 70s, but potential is there for it to also be held down there, especially if we get cloud cover and stuff like that. So a little bit more uncertainty with that. But overall, besides those 2 days, a cooler week upcoming here, mid 60s, high 60s for highs, lows in the right around 50 or so, a couple days in the 40s potentially. No frost, nothing like that. No freezing temperatures that we're concerned about. So upcoming week, cooler. Precipitation chances Tuesday, potential severe weather here. The further south you go in the state towards 94 corridor, Kalamazoo, Jackson, we'll say Ann Arbor here, Monroe, Adrian, Hillsdale, Coldwater, those general areas there in dark green on your screen. That is your SPC severe risk currently. That may shift slightly north-south depending on a lot of the new data points we're going to get here. Uncertainty does exist with this, so don't lock anything in. Just keep in mind as a potential for this for Tuesday. Wednesday as well does have a risk off to our south here. If I can find it again. It's not going to let me do it now, but it is off to the south of us. So it's possible we may get into a low end marginal risk again, although not really seeing too much confidence in that right now. How each day plays out will affect the next. So confidence is low. It's just potential here because if everything does come together, we could be looking at a threat or a risk develop. Okay. Past Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to be probably dealing with leftover showers on Thursday. By the time late Thursday rolls around, it should be clearing out. Dry conditions will prevail into Friday and Saturday, and then precipitation chances will increase back into Sunday, mainly just for rain. Not too concerned for any storm chances at that point in time. But again, we're still 7 days out from that. Things can change. It's just kind of looking like general rain showers at that point for some parts of Michigan. So overall, that's your week in advance. Next week or so will be cooler. It'll warm back up as we get into mid parts of next week. Excuse me. Excuse me. That's the expectation, at least. And then as we get into the 2, 3, 4 week time frame, we're going to return back into normal to above normal temperatures. All right. With that being said, I'm going to hop off here. You guys have a great night. We'll have an update for you guys on the page tomorrow morning if the SPC changed anything, which we do expect there to be a slight changes, but we'll post it either way. And we'll go live again tomorrow evening if we're still looking at a threat here in the state of Michigan. So with that being said, you guys have a wonderful night. Stay safe and enjoy the upcoming week.